Alright, so today I'm going to talk about two different things. One is weeds in the garden, and two, talk about a little bit about our fall plans for the fall vegetable garden. So one, let's talk about weeds. I've seen a lot of people post about weeds are okay for the garden. Are you kidding me? That is crazy talk. I'm going to show you here what we've been doing this year to try to prevent weeds. If you think about it, these chemical companies, pesticide companies, they're making money. They invent products to eliminate weeds. As far back as human and civilization is concerned, we have been cultivating the soil to allow our plants to grow and get rid of the weeds. Weeds are not a place for the vegetable garden, in my opinion. So this year we've had extremely bad luck with weeds, and if you've been following me for a long time, check about last year about our weeds that we did not have because of a weed fabric. So let's go to the garden and check out and talk a little more about weeds in the vegetable garden. Alright, so it's been cooler than normal for the most part this summer so far. I usually don't work too much out here in this summertime just because it is so hot, over 100 degrees usually. But today we're going to get out here and clear up most of our garden. But if we look closely here, you can see what I'm talking about. We used the mulch this year. Wanted to go with a more natural choice. Some people call it permaculture, back to Eden method, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. Whatever the name is. Look, I've got a ton of weeds in the garden. It's overflowing with weeds. We added probably 6 to 8 inches of free mulch in our garden this year, trying to do the more natural thing. I agree with the bare soil idea. There should never be bare soil in anywhere in life, especially the vegetable garden. But this mulch here, this has caused a lot of issues with us this year. I think one problem could be the also a nitrogen issue. This free mulch had a lot of fine particulate as well as big chunks, and I was reading that maybe the fine matter can also suck up the nitrogen in the soil. But if you keep on looking here, you can just see the large amount of weeds from the garden. I mean, there's mulch under here, but you know what? The weeds have won. I will not be doing mulch. Now I've got a huge mess to clean up out here. I'm not quite happy with it, actually. Unbelievable mess. But the mulch is a no-go for us. I'm not going to do that anymore. This is ridiculous. But one thing that we did do last year, come around here and let me show you. This is the weed fabric that we used last year. Comment down below if you've used this weed fabric or have done something of this similar idea. This is not plastic, okay? This is a weed fabric material, landscape fabric, whatever you want to call it. But this stuff is nice and thick here that I have. This I found at Sam's, or the smaller roll here I have actually got at Walmart. They're the same company. Sam's has a nice huge roll for a good deal in the spring. They may not have it right now currently, but check it out in the springtime for this weed fabric. And click at my past videos last year on our garden, and you'll see us having the weed fabric laid throughout the whole garden with minimal to no weeds. So, you know, this was not a good thing for us. I like to show you the good benefits and the bad lessons we learned from our garden. And well, the mulch did nothing for us as far as weed control goes, and I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, this is just crazy. The grass is as tall as the tomato plants at this point. So we've got a huge mess to clean up. So as you can see, we got a lot of weeds. Most of these are probably not even weeds. Most of this is Bermuda grass. This is the main problem for us here locally in our area, is Bermuda grass. They landscape the yards and lawns everywhere in our city with Bermuda grass and is the most difficult thing to remove. So most of this is actually Bermuda grass along with some weeds, but I'll tell you what, I don't know if other parts of the country have a problem with weeds like we do, but we have a serious issue every year with weeds. So that's why these companies invest, and there's so many large, huge companies that invest tons of money and make millions of dollars every year in pesticides and chemicals to kill weeds. And that's why we have these, now a new topic is GMO seeds, GMO plants. Why? What is GMO? That's plants that resist these chemicals to kill weeds. So there is a big consensus to get rid of weeds, and I kind of agree. I don't think weeds are a place in the garden, and that's why there's big money being made in removing weeds. So that's why there's a big movement for this GMO, for these big companies to make money. They can spray these chemicals over their plants, kill all the weeds, and the plants are not infected. Unfortunately, those are genetically modified, meaning that the cells in the are genetically modified, and they are altered by human mankind, which I totally disagree with. So and they're also patented. They got a patents on these seeds, or a patent on life, pretty much. So anyways, that's a little bit about that. So weeds are big business for a lot of people. Alright, so as far as the fall garden goes, our main bed here, we're going to probably clear up most of this, if not all. We're going to harvest most of the tomatoes. The tomatoes are pretty much stopped making. I'm done with tomatoes. I'm not going to grow any this fall. It's way too late to plant tomatoes. So we're just going to skip this whole main bed here. I'm going to actually clear out. Got to remove all this mulch because I don't want to till in mulch. I've got to get all this grass and weeds killed and mulch removed so we don't cause any more nitrogen deficiency as we already have. And then we're going to plant, the idea and the goal is for this fall is to plant a cover crop in the main bed here that will be a nitrogen fixing cover crop. Will hopefully give us more nitrogen in the soil the next year. We'll let it grow through the fall and winter. We'll cut it back down, work it back into the soil, and then probably by early February, when we're ready to plant potatoes, our soil will have much more nitrogen. I plan on doing actually a soil test probably around December to see exactly how our soil is. I didn't do one this year, but the previous year we had 0 nitrogen in the soil, if you seen that video. So here's our idea. We're going to do cover crop in the main bed portioning, and the smaller bed that goes along here on this side is going to be where we're going to grow some of our fall crops that we'll be starting to plant within the next probably 4 weeks here or so. It'll be time to start getting some of the fall crops in the ground next 4 to 6 weeks. So that's our plan for the fall vegetable garden, working our soil, improving our soil, and hopefully having a nice, even more successful garden this next early spring and fall. Alright, so we're working out here, clearing out a ton of weeds, picking what we can. Alright, so we got all the tomatoes pretty much cleared out here. Quite a bit of mess. Just a huge pile of weeds and tomato plants. Here is just one handful of weeds that I have pulled up. All weeds as tall as the tomato plant. And the tomatoes obviously have stopped producing. Out of over 25 plants, there's barely anything on the vine because it is just too hot for tomatoes to produce at this time. Alright, so something's been eating up our melons out here, so we're going to pull up all of our melons. If we come down here, we can see we do have something out here. I think it's a rat. Sunflower seeds everywhere, cracked open. And if we scroll on up to our sunflower, look at this. There is no sunflower seeds left on that flower there. Something has climbed up this sunflower plant and ate up all the sunflower seeds. Had a nice little meal there, so we're gonna clear this up and hopefully get rid of some of our varmints that are in our garden. Alright, so as I was cleaning out the garden today, we got us some tons of habanero peppers. I found a few beets hiding in the weeds, so we'll see how those are. Pretty cool. A couple of beets here. There's a couple more in there somewhere, and just a handful of tomatoes. So, and a lot of peppers. Pepper season right now. So peppers are about done. So here's just our little bitty harvest after clearing out most of the garden. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to follow more of our journey and see our successes and failures. I plan on showing out everything that we do, just not the grand wonderful results, but also the failures, as here we have weeds everywhere. Make it a great day.